In this video, we are going to solve for the profit maximization of two firms which are engaged in Cournot duopoly. So let's start with the demand and we'll assume linear demand. So demand for the two firms is given as price equal to 80 minus 2Q. We have two firms. So firm 1 sells output Q1, firm 2 sells output Q2, which means the aggregate quantity Q is the sum of Q1 plus Q2. I will rewrite now the inverse demand including the information of Q1 and Q2 as 80 minus 2 times Q1 plus Q2, which is 80 minus 2Q1 minus 2Q2. I distributed negative 2 to each term in the parenthesis, which means now I will look at the total cost for these two firms, and here I am assuming these two firms are identical. So let's start with the total cost for firm 1, TC1, to be 20 times Q1 plus 100. So $100 is the fixed cost, variable cost is 20 times Q1, which means I will get the marginal cost for firm 1 to be 20, and I am assuming both these firms to be identical. So the total cost for firm 2 is 20 times Q2. The quantity sold by firm 2 is Q2. No change in the fixed cost, which means the marginal cost for firm 2 is 20. In Cournot duopoly, the firms compete on quantity, so they decide how many units they want to sell, and in particular, if firm 1 is making its choice of Q1, it takes as the quantity decision of firm 2 as given. It doesn't know the quantity, so it will assume the quantity of firm 2 is fixed. Now let's look at the residual demand for firm 1. For firm 1, so I will write it as D1. This is given by price equal to 80 minus 2Q1 minus 2Q2, but remember Q2 is fixed when firm 1 is making its choice, so I will write it as 80 minus 2Q2, that's the vertical intercept, minus 2Q1 is the horizontal, is the negative slope term. And so I will now be able to write down the marginal revenue as same vertical intercept 80 minus 2Q2 twice the slope, so negative 2Q1 becomes negative 4Q1. That's the marginal revenue for firm 1. Firm 1 wants to earn maximum profit, so to earn maximum profit, the firm 1 will equate its marginal revenue to its marginal cost, which is given to be constant at 20. So I have 80 minus 2Q2 minus 4Q1 as marginal revenue, 20 as my marginal cost. We can rewrite this. I subtract 20 from both sides, so I get 60 minus 2Q2 minus 4Q1 equal to 0. I could rewrite it as 4Q1 equal to 60 minus 2q2. I just moved the negative 4q1 on the left to the right, goes as positive, and then I flipped the side. From here I could write, I will divide both sides by 4 to obtain q1 by itself on the left. So I could write this as q1 equal to 15 minus q2 over 2. So this is the reaction function. We will call it as the reaction function for firm 1. I will write it as R1. So reaction function for R1 is 15 minus Q2 over 2. In particular, if the firm 2 doesn't participate in the market, then we can see Q1 will be 15. This will be the monopoly output for firm 1. If Q2 is 2, then Q1 is 15 minus 2 divided by 2. That is 15 minus 1 turns out to be 14, so on. Now, when we look at the profit maximization for firm 2, it also has the same belief. It has no control on the quantity choice made by firm 1. So it will take the quantity of firm 1 as given and look at the residual demand. So let me write down the residual demand for firm 2. So I will write it as D2, price equal to 80 minus 2Q1 minus 2Q2, or since Q1 is fixed beyond the control of firm 2, I will take the vertical intercept to be 80 minus 2Q1 and then the negative 2Q2. From here, I can find out the marginal revenue for firm 2 to be 80 minus 2Q1. So same vertical intercept, twice this 4Q2. The firm 2 also earns maximum profit by making the marginal revenue equal to the marginal cost. We have the same marginal cost for firm 2 as well. So I write it as 80 minus 2Q1 minus 4Q2 equal to 20. I will subtract 20 from both sides as before. And then what I obtain is 60 minus 2Q1 minus 4Q2 equal to 0. I want Q2 as a function of Q1. So I will rewrite this as 4Q2, 60 minus 2Q1, which was obtained by moving the negative 4Q2 on the left to the right, goes as positive, and dividing. And now I will divide both sides by 4. So this gives me Q2 as 15 minus Q1 over 2. This is the reaction function for firm 2, where it responds to the quantity choices of firm 1, and the goal for each firm is to earn their own maximum profit without regard to the other firm. We will like to draw this in a graph to show how these two reaction functions look like. So I will have the quantity Q1 on the vertical, Q2 on the horizontal. And remember the reaction function R1, this is the reaction for firm 1, Q1 is equal to 15 minus Q2 over 2. The reaction function for firm 2, Q2 is equal to 15 minus Q1 over 2. If we look at the graph for the reaction function for form 1. It has vertical intercept 15, slope is -half, so we will get a straight line which has 15 as the vertical intercept and 30 as the horizontal intercept. So 15 here, 30 here is the R1. If I want to draw the reaction function for form 2, it will have 30 as the vertical intercept, 15 as the horizontal, so 30 here, 15 here is the reaction function for R2. The Cournot equilibrium is obtained at the point where these two reaction functions intersect, which will turn out to be 10. If you draw it on a graph, you will see it turns out to be 10. I will give 2 additional ways of solving this. So we can solve these two equations. The two equations, two unknowns, where I will write the first equation. I am rewriting the reaction function 1 as, you can see, it should be Q1 plus Q2 over 2 equal to 15. I moved the negative term on the right to the left. It goes as positive. I will rewrite the reaction function 2 also by moving the Q1 over 2 to the left, and I will write the Q1 term first, so Q1 over 2 plus Q2 equal to 15, just to maintain the order in which each one of these two terms appear. This is two equations, two unknowns, linear, we should be able to solve. For example, let's multiply, so I will label them. This is equation 1, this is equation 2. Let's multiply the first equation by 2. So now I will multiply each term in the first equation by 2. So what I get? 2Q1 plus Q2 equal to 30. I will write the second equation by as it is. So I have Q1 over 2 plus Q2 equal to 15. If I subtract the second equation from the first one, you can see we will be able to cancel out the Q2 term, plus here, negative here, that is gone. What remains on the left, 2Q1 minus Q1 over 2 is 1.5 Q1. On the right hand side, I have 30 minus 15, turns out to be 15, which means I will divide both sides by 1.5 to obtain Q1 by itself on the left and 10 on the right. Once I have Q1 to be 10, I can use this in the first equation, where Q1 plus 1/2 Q2 is given as 15. This is my equation 1. I will plug in the value of 10 for Q1. I want to find out Q2. It is 15, so I subtract 10 from both sides. What I obtain is 1/2 Q2. On the left, 10 minus 5, 15 minus 10 on the right, which is 5. Now I could multiply both sides by 2 to obtain Q2 on the left, 10 on the right. So now we have found our solutions. Q1 star equal to Q2 star equal to 10. we could have anticipated this by noting that these two firms have identical cost structure, so they should have similar outcomes. If you had applied this to our earlier case, so suppose I wrote my reaction function R1, Q1 equal to 15 minus Q2 over 2, and assume, use the idea of symmetry to claim that Q1 must be equal to Q2 in Cournot equilibrium. Then I will get Q1 15 minus Q1 over 2. I substitute Q1 instead of Q2. I get 1.5 Q1 equal to 15, Q1 equal to 10, but then that is equal to Q2. This is by the idea of symmetry. So this we can get by symmetry. We know the two firms have identical cost structure, same demand, they must have identical outcome. Now let's proceed. So I have Q1 equal to Q2 equal to 10, which means the aggregate quantity is Q1 plus Q2. 10 plus 10 turns out to be 20. We can now find out the price in this market. Price is 80 minus 2 times Q, 80 minus 2 times 20, 80 minus 40, it turns out to be 40. So let's find out the total revenue for firm 1, price times Q1. So $40 is the price, Q1 is 10, $400. Then the cost for firm 1 is $20 Q1 plus 100, so 20 times 10 plus 100, 200 plus 100 turns out to be 300, which means now the profit for firm 1, I will call it this as a star. So this is the maximum profit firm 1 would be able to earn. Total revenue $400, total cost $300, turns out to be $100. And as we have seen, this is a symmetric market, so each firm would have symmetric outcome. We can do this calculation. I will leave it to you to see that the profit for firm 2 also turns out to be exactly $100. So that's the equilibrium outcome in a Cournot duopoly. This is a good place to stop.